For me, the finance is a evolving subject. When I studied, a lot of people used to come to IMC and give lectures. Most of my professors actually were not able to grasp the changes, and changes were not so fast in those days. I was studying between 89 and 91, and those days we were not liberalized. Everything was on ACIS basis. You couldn't change much. It was a license Raj and so on and so forth. And still, when I came out, and I was kind of hugely interested only in finance. I didn't want to do anything else. And I didn't want to even do anything other than project finance, because I was so impressed by project finance, which in retrospect was not a great idea. But sometimes kind of it gets into your mind that you need to do this and you want to do that, right? So it got into me, and I applied only for 3 jobs, all 3 financial institutions those days, ICICI, IDBI and IFCI. And finally, I think IDBI was the first to select me. That's how I joined IDBI. Why I'm telling you this is, those days, at least I have vivid memories of my learning. I came out of IIM and I went to the work, and there was a complete difference of what we had learned and what was the real practice of doing project finance. And of course, you know the technology and a technique part of it. You are a technician when you come out of school. And that also a technician who has never worked. So all your ideas about techniques also are reasonably wrong. When you get into practice, it becomes really difficult for you to adjust. But those days were still what I call non-changing days. Very few things changed. And as soon as I joined, by quirk of fate, things started changing very fast. India went into a tailspin. India had almost a default situation like what Greece is going through. And we had to move the gold from the vaults wherever and then send to UK and get some loans and stuff like that. And things started changing. The rupee went from 17 to 27 overnight. And I was, in a sense, in the middle of the action, although middle means what? You are a small guy sitting there trying to figure out what is happening, and you are sitting in an organization which is supposed to be very important, very big. IDBI used to be actually larger than SBI those days. It lost its way, but over the last 20 years. But those days it was very, very large. And so why I'm telling you this is, life is changing. It is now changing much faster every day than ever before. And you need to figure out what is meaning of finance or meaning of marketing or sales. And I heard 2, 3 other speakers speak. And it's interesting how nobody knows the elephant. Everyone is trying to describe the elephant in their own way. And they are basically, all of them are right in some ways and all of them are wrong in some ways. Most of the time they are wrong because they are only looking at one portion of the elephant where they are able to touch or where they have had the ability to touch. But other than that, everyone is wrong. And why it is happening is also interesting. In 20 years, I have been an engineer. Most of my life is about IT. And most of my life is about finance. So the finance guys know me as IT guy, and IT guys know me as finance guys, because they think they know their part, but they don't know the other part, and I know both. So it's an interesting stuff. But one thing when I look back, the only constant or only thing which has actually changed the world is technology. Not only technology of information, but technology of any type. And it is kind of getting into finance. There are what I call finance for infrastructure, which is what you do when you have to finance a large corporate like Reliance. I worked for Reliance for 10 years in variety of capacities, including in finance. But if you have to work for, say, large corporations, you have to set up a large project like, say, airport, then it is infrastructure. And there is a linear payoff. So when you do financing, you try to figure out the DSCR and all those ratios. Have you been taught? And those ratios for me are completely irrelevant for most other projects. In fact, in last 15 years, it has been proved beyond doubt that at least in India, those ratios are completely irrelevant for the normal infrastructure projects also. All the NPAs are coming from there. So what is happening, especially people, how many of you have parents or families who have, say, $50 million or access to $50 million, $5 million? Okay, so one we have. So effectively, most of us come from what we call, today only there is an article, which I think scroll.in, which says that most of us think we are middle class, but we are not. We are basically on the poor category, just we believe, we have made ourselves believe that we are in middle class. Internationally, we are coming quite into the poor category. Why I'm telling you this is, there is a hope for all of us. My own story is of a lot of struggle, but also of a lot of hope and also a lot of achievements. So there is a hope is in form of technology. I mean, I somehow came into the entrepreneurial situation by design. I set up NSC early on in life, and I set up the SATCOM network, satellite communication networks, the screen-based trading for India, and of course for NSE, but those days that was first, and Nifty index and derivatives and whatever you. But after 7 years of working, I realized that my salary was 40,000 rupees per month, and in hand was 9,000 rupees. And I had cars and chauffeurs and big flat, and in salary, I mean, hand salary was almost as much as my driver's. And so, and I was already 30, 31, I was a very important person, but no money. And so I said, okay, I need to do something about my life. And so, as somebody said, do they approach you or you approach them? So two of my juniors who were in McKinsey in US, they came and said that they have got a funding. And they would want me to, because the funder is also one of my seniors from IIT, and actually the people who were taking funding were from my juniors from IIT. And so that guy, the senior guy, told them that if you take Ashish Chauhan, then I will fund you. So that was the deal. And that was early days in 2000 of funding, you know, a lot of sort of interesting stuff. Why I'm telling you these stories is, it will give you some perspective, because many times I think that we lose opportunities because we think too much, we have too many inhibitions. And so those two boys came. They were already earning several times more than me. They were in McKinsey in US earning in dollars. And they said that we have got so many $1 million of funding, and you need to be the CEO, and that's how this funding comes. And I said, but I'm such a big guy, and I have, although my salary is low, but my paraphernalia will make it at least $1 million a year. At least that is how I impute the cost. And if I can't kind of spend that money and this business doesn't sort of work out, then I am on the road and you guys are on the road. You guys are McKinsey and I am basically having no savings, so let me not do it. So I didn't do that project. And that project, after 2 or 3 years, was sold at $100 million. Why I'm telling you this is an interesting story where opportunity comes to you, and whatever circumstances you are in, you kind of, and you didn't even appreciate. I mean, I was considered the pioneer of what we call e-commerce now, because electronic stock exchange is e-commerce, right? Ultimately, it trades on e-basis, right? So there is nothing physical about stock exchange trading. And so what we used to call cyber trading now is called e-commerce after 20 years. But effectively, everyone knew this guy is good, you need to fund, but you are not willing to take the funding, right? And so you lost that opportunity. And then I wanted to join World Bank. So because again, you have worked in IDBI and you think you want to be working in that. So every one of us starts with those notions and stories and stuff. And so I went to apply, I mean, I applied for World Bank. Once They called me, and I wanted to join only in a program called Young Professionals. It is below age 30. And so they interviewed me once in Japan. Then they said, you don't know two languages, two international languages, because I know only Hindi, English and Gujarati. I don't know French, Spanish, anything. So they said, you don't know the sort of language, so they kind of didn't take me. Next year again they called me to DC. And DC, there was a snow which stopped all the sort of flights from taking off for 7 days. So I had to stay in Washington DC for 7 days doing nothing, except I would go to the IFC Washington's offices every day, and they would interview whoever came to office, because nobody came to office those days. If the city closes down, if you, like Bombay gets flooded, nobody comes to office. Whoever comes, even Pune will start interviewing the next guy, you know. So that's how they would send me to somebody. So 7 days I did that. Then I came back and they said, boss, you are young, you are professional, but you are an expert in stock market. So we can't take you as young professional. We'll take you as a stock market expert for India. And I said, boss, if I have to do job in India, I might as well do this job rather than doing some World Bank job, which is so boring. And so I didn't take. In the meantime, in DC itself, some people figured out that I was in DC and I was trying to leave NSE. They called me saying, we are going to fund you, and you start an e-commerce platform. You make one e-commerce platform for us. That was Reliance. And so Reliance called me, and I said, okay, I have this World Bank job coming. If it doesn't come, if I don't like it, then I'll join you. And so I didn't like that job, and I went to Reliance. But again, my framework was, I need a salary. I don't need, I mean, if you give me stake, it's very good, but I need a salary. And of course, by that time, all Nandan Nilekani, who was my senior from IIT, they had all become billionaires. So we wanted stake, but we also wanted some stability, right? So I said, boss, I need salary which should match with the job which I am giving up. And they said, okay, it's your choice. You take that job, I mean, you take that salary, and we still give you stake and work with us and start this company. You are the CEO. I started the company 2000 March. And 2001, we launched the first platform. By the time e-commerce came down, so everyone lost interest, including Reliance. And now I had a team of 50 people staring at bleak future, right? And we had lost some large sums, 50 crore in those days, of Reliance, of course. But now what to do, right? You don't have a job, and you are very worried every day, saying what to do, what to do. And of course, we were sincere, hardworking, salaried people. And then the owner said that, okay, boss, this is not working out, but you work with Reliance. Anyway, there are too many projects going on. You know all these things, so settle ho jao. So that is how we said, okay, close the entrepreneurial venture and get into the jobs. So all of us started trying to become useful, right? Because you don't have a space. Already the organization structures are defined, and they don't want you, right? You are an sort of a person coming from outside, and a guy with reputation. IT guys don't want you because they think you are going to trouble them. The business guys don't want you. So you want to be sort of hanging around. Everyone will kick you out saying, boss, when it is done, you come and watch. Don't come and try to poke your nose here. So slowly, after a couple of months, one project comes, then second project comes. And then Reliance launched a huge scheme called 501. I don't know how many of you were aware. There was a telecom scheme. And they had huge success. Success was also due to the fact that Reliance didn't bill. They had 1.5 crore customers in a year, and nobody was getting the bill correct, and they were not paying, and they were merrily using the phones, you know. That is India, right? And so that's why, in some sense, in retrospect, it became hugely successful, because everyone figured that, "Arey, bill nahi aata hai, chalo, leo." So then one day, the chairman called me saying, Ashish, what does a CIO do? So I said, sir, let me figure out. I went to the net. I did the 5-6 job specs like all of us do, right? Sort of cut paste, made it look normal, and I went to him and I gave him. He looked at it and he said, now you are the CIO. I had not expected because I had done it for other कि बस उसको problem होना चाहिए, अपना नहीं है. And so he said, now you are the CIO. And I said, but why, what is the point? He said, no, now I have found you to be very diligent and you know IT and you know business. And so you need to be a CIO. And I mean, at least I thought I'd left IT after I started NSE. But it kind of came back and I had no choice, right? I mean, you need to run your house. So I said, okay, let me be CIO. But I said, then all the IT guys have to report to me. It's not that in such large organization with 40,000 people, there are too many pockets. So I said, all of them have to report to me. And then only I will. So fortunately, I could clean the stuff in 6 months' time. So people who were not billing, basically the way at least I solve problem is in parts. In past problem, you solve it differently. The future, you don't allow the problem to come up. And so future, not allowing problem to come up, we made a methodology by which we could do sort of bill properly for all the newcomers. All the past guys who were not paying, we ended up converting them into prepaid because phones were actually paid for by Reliance and not by the consumers. And they couldn't be used in other networks because of the technology and stuff. So finally, we were running a 15 crore a day EBITDA negative. We had a $1 billion loss already accumulated and a 15 crore a day EBITDA negative, as we call it. I mean, some of you know this technical jargons of finance. But 15 crore a day EBITDA negative to, in 6 months, it became 15 crore a day EBITDA positive. Just by using technology. By just changing technology. I mean, we had spent $1 billion on technology implementation with all PwC, McKinsey, Diamond Cluster, whatever name of consultants you have heard of and not heard of were employed by Reliance 5-6 years to implement technology, and none of them actually were working jointly. So they were beautiful softwares, everything, but they were not integrated, which I did. And so it started working well. And so the boss thought I am a great IT guy, which I didn't want to become, I was thinking I was finance guy, and here you have this job. And so, in 6 months' time, the brothers fought. So again, the Reliance Telecom went to the younger brother, and as soon as he came in, he hired a new guy. And so, of course, I was close to both, but they said, oh, you are a finance guy, you work in finance. But I said, okay, now that my tenure is over, your work problem is done, let me go out. And again, when I went out, I got a job from my older employer, that is the elder brother. He called saying, "Arey, kya kar raha hai? Aa jao, hamare wahan baitho." So there is no discussion done. There is no, many times you think you write all this down, your salaries, these, that, nothing was, I have never done that way. It may be happening to other people, not to me. But I went and sat there, and they said, okay, you are now the CIO of Reliance Group. And of course, there was halls of protests saying, how does a CIO work? At the same time, any IPOs happen, you have to do it because you are the stock market expert also. And then there was a huge PR battle going on. So one day he said, okay, have you done PR before? I said, no. So he said, okay, now you have to do PR. Okay, so I started doing PR. I was president and group CIO. And then all these things happened. Of course, PR battle got over later on. You might have heard a great lady called Neera Radia came in place of me. But effectively, some of you laugh, but see, why I'm telling you this is, life is accidental, okay? It is not planned. If you plan, it doesn't happen. And more often than not, in your life, it will not happen. Because still our life was more predictable, fewer changes. Your life, there will be huge changes. So whenever time comes, and then later on, one day I got a call at 2, because my boss used to work till 4 in the morning. He works very hard. And he would come to office at 11, 12, but we all will come to office at 9 because we are used to. So I ended up working literally 3 shifts. So one day I got a call at 2 in the night saying, you have to meet somebody tomorrow morning at 10. I went there and they said that chairman has said, you are now going to handle Mumbai Indians. And because they knew I used to play cricket and I was very fond of it, you know. That is in addition. I mean, you do IT, you do PR, you do all the IPOs, but this is like 2 months a year, boss kar dalo. Right? And the best part is that after 3 days, there is first match happening and we have not sold a single ticket. Right? So you have to sell the ticket basically. Okay, so within that month, I sold tickets for 10 matches in 2 different stadiums. One D.Y. Patil, D.Y. Patil is in Vashi side and Belapur, and one for Wankhede, which was half broken. And so you have to sell tickets, and then, so effectively, life will come to you in more interesting ways. Some of the opportunities you will not take, some of the opportunities you will take, some of the opportunities you will not have a choice. But try to understand that technology is the only change that happens. Life surrounds it. Some of the opportunities may not come to you, some of them may come to you. And there are myriad of technologies that are currently at the stage today, which IT was at 20 years back, 30 years back. And for me, in next 20 years, the wealth that will be created will be 10,000 times larger than what has been created before, till now. Whether it is artificial intelligence, 3D printing, nanotechnologies, inside body computers, wearable computers, genetically modified animals, humans, whatever you have, you know, big data, it's going to be phenomenal. Young people can learn newer things and implement. You guys are really young. You have a choice. India has a choice because India is the only large country with young population and technologically oriented. So for me, I have a huge hope on future of India because most of the wealth that will be created will be non-linear. You put in 10 lakh rupees and you may generate 10,000 crore. And you may put in 10,000 crore and you may generate 0, right? So this is a non-linear payoff days, except those infrastructure part which India needs to do. And try to worry about it, try to get involved in entrepreneurial ventures. So finally, parallelly, I was also running a small software firm. I was working 24/7 and I was funding a software firm for stockbrokers because I came from that business. It was my hobby company. It started giving me a lot of profits. It became 120 people and the monthly salary bill was around 60 lakh rupees in 2009. And I said, boss, now if 1 month money doesn't come, then I am sunk. And so I had put in all my life savings there and it was looking very sketchy because of the financial crisis. So I said, okay, let me sell out. I sold it. Money was to come after 1 year. It didn't come. So again, it was back with me with losses instead of profits. And so I had to put in whatever funds I had again. And later on, I again resold it to BSE. That's how I came into BSE because they wanted me to work with them for a year. And that's how I kind of came in. I again tried to remain useful, although I had a lot of money after that 1 year. Money was to come after 5 years, but I was sure company has enough to pay me over 5 years. And I tried to remain useful, became CEO at some stage, and here I am. So why I want to tell you this story is worry about the technology trends, try to get involved in many technologies. Things will keep on changing all the time. Newer waves will come, and you need to sort of ride the waves. So keep your eyes and ears open. Opportunities may come anytime, or you'll have to go and grab it, and learn to be entrepreneurial even when you do jobs rather than trying to only do analytics, these, that. Try to sort of figure out how to make business out of it for yourself and for your company. And whenever any opportunity comes to you, even within the business which you are working on, you want to do marketing and some sales stuff comes, get it. Ops stuff comes, get it. IT stuff comes, take it. So why I'm telling you this is, don't be so hung up on one set of career for entire life. My life has been about accidents, but your life will be more about accidents than my life has been. So thank you very much for calling me.